Welcome to another add-on video for the course. I will be going over two main things today, which is my two trades that I placed today, and also how to adjust your fibs whenever you have a strong bounce on the 38 and it actually breaks the layout. So I will start going over my first trade, which was very early. It was right around 4 in the morning. So I will move this fibs back. All right, so before I went to sleep, I started running my fibs and I just left them pending as the night unfolded. And you guys already know this already, and why I ran my fibs from this point and not from the bottom. This was the leg here that started breaking market structure. So that is fairly obvious there. So as it started forming, I first started laying my fibs there, and then I laid them higher as it kept forming highs, and eventually it made the high right there. So if you notice, you had a beautiful 38 bounce right at that level. You see the 38 bounce unfold, and here it actually made a new high. So you no longer leave your fibs from this area to this area. Now you're going to move up your fib to that new high. And if you move up your fib on the top to the new high, you need to move your fibs on the bottom to the next leg, which will be right here. And once you do that, you will see that the chart will come back down to test the 70 level, and then it ripped. And that was my trade, my first trade for today. I actually went in a bit late. I didn't go in at the 70 level. I saw this unfold when I was trading right around here. So remember that the trade is valid anywhere below the fib layout. So I went long right around this area, and I covered up here. And you could tell that I covered up here because that was the liquidity run that I had on this previous high. And that was a really quick trade. After that, I took a nap. I set my alarm for 7:30. And I started seeing this tank here. If you look at the 1 hour, you can tell that it had a strong rejection here. I actually added the 200 EMA to my chart. I usually only have it on my higher time frames, but together with the flat 120, the low and the high flat 120. But I decided to add it to my 1 hour because I have been testing out some other strategies together with the fibs. So if you notice, I had a quick rejection here on the 200 EMA on the 1 hour, which indicates that this is going to be a newfound bearish momentum. If you notice, overall, the trend was slightly bearish. It was trying to pick up and reverse the trend, but eventually it didn't happen once I saw this newfound rejection here. So if you go back to the 15-minute, I was no longer bullish for today's session. And also, as you see this tank here unfold, you see your EMAs crossing as well. So what I did was I patiently waited for the bottom. After I found the bottom, I ran my fibs. From where you're gonna run your fibs, which leg broke market structure. So you look for any leg that is in front of this lows here, and that will be this leg right here. It wouldn't be this leg because this leg didn't break anything, but this leg here, if you run it from there to the bottom, this leg broke this market structure here and here. So this is a complete shift in trend, and you have your EMAs crossing as well. So if you run your fibs from there, you see your 79 bounce right here. So I took this short. I shorted at 62, and then I shorted at 70. I ended up taking profit right around here. The reason why I took profit here is because I already traded today. I just decided to take another quick scalp, and I took profit here because I saw this wick here, which was, if you notice, this was resistance, and this could have easily became support again. So that's why I took profit right around there. On my swing account, I currently have a short position running. I am pretty convinced that this is going to continue tanking, but um, that will be for another subject. So at the moment, I just wanted to lay that out. Remember to run your fibs from the market breaks, and then you will see the bounce on the 62 and 70 unfold. So that will be the first part. The second part that I wanted to speak about was just how I moved my fibs on my first trade. I will go over that one more time, and then I'll show you another sample, which actually happened last week. It doesn't happen too often, but it does happen, and you want to be aware of that, because once you see those 38 bounces rip and break the layout, you want to know how to adjust your fibs in order to have a valid 62 entry. So I started with my fib from here to the highest point, which was here. And you see a 38 bounce happen right at the 38 level. That was actually perfect. Sometimes it goes down a little too much, or it barely touches. But that was a beautiful 38 bounce. And once you had the 38 bounce, you had new highs. You always want to adjust your fibs to the new found high. So you adjust it there. And if you adjust the top, now you need to adjust the bottom to the next leg. Adjust it to the next leg so it could be a valid trade. And then you can see that it came back down to test the 62. Because at first it came down to test the 38 when your layout was set up down here. But now, since you have a newfound high, it had to come back down to test the 62. And that's how that pattern unfolded. So I will close the fibs. Go over another sample. It was on the 20th, I believe. Yes, that was right here. Close this a bit. All right. So again, which leg here broke previous market structure? This is the market structure here, and this was the break. So you will run your fibs from this level. All right, so if you notice here, this was very early in the morning. This was around 3:40 in the morning. I missed this trade. I wasn't able to take it. I was too early. So if you notice, it was a perfect 70, 79 entry. Short, I missed that trade. So what I did was I continued running my fibs going down. I didn't move this portion of the fibs yet, because this was just a regular 62 that was in play. It wasn't a 38 that broke the layout. It was a regular play that already happened. So I kept extending my fibs. So now here on the new bottom, now you see a 38 bounce. And on this 38 bounce, it had a very aggressive move to the downside that broke the layout. So now in this case, you would move your layout to the bottom, to the newfound bottom, and now the top, you will move it to the next leg, which will be right here. And if you do that, you will notice that you'll get a 79 bounce short. And pretty much that should be a very simple technique, but just know that you need to move your fibs if the 38 breaks, because if you don't move it, what will happen is that you might miss the trade. It might barely touch the 62. In this case, you would have been fine because it did touch it, but you want to play it safe and do it the correct way, which will be the next leg, and you have your fib layouts right there. Thank you for listening.